Going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk About Transformers. Today we are going to be taking a look at the WFC Earthrise Wheeljack. I believe they re-released it for Kingdom, and I think it had like a scrappier paint job, kind of like the Netflix would. But this is the Earthrise version of Wheeljack, so we'll go ahead and take a look at the vehicle mode. Here, you've got lots of little logos on the side. Icon, Invenizone, Praxis. That just makes me think of Jack and Dexter. Is anyone else that old? So just lots of paint and tampo details on the side. This panel doesn't quite match up. It's very tan compared to the kind of bony white the rest of the vehicle is. Rims are painted orangey red, like the color of soup, tomato soup. That's what I'm gonna call that. It's tomato soup. Coming around to the back, you've got some silver paint around these weapon ports that could be tail lights and this rear bumper section. This side's got the same kind of details with the little Autobot symbol and some Japan type writing. I don't know if that's Japanese, I don't know if it's Chinese, Oriental, just things I can't read. The front, you've got some black there in what would be the grille, venting, green and red stripes. The windows, you can see where they're coming apart, but they're all the same clear plastic. Then you've got the red stripes and Autobot symbol on the roof. This is the same paint as here, so I guess they just tried to color match it with the plastic and weren't super successful. This one is less noticeable though, because the color is mostly touching other colors instead of the direct plastic it's mimicking, unlike right here, kind of like the Cyclonus breakup. Then you've got one last tampo there on the spoiler for a company, as well as more of that green and red striping. He rolls on, well, I mean, he's not really rolling on my table because it's textured, so the wheels aren't really like it's textured, but it's smooth. It's not got any grip to it. Here, this is nearby. We'll see if it'll roll on this. Nope, box is too smooth. Either that or this front tires. No, it'll spin when I spin it, so it's just not rolling too good. He's got one accessory, which is his little shoulder missile cannon thing, and you can pop it onto any of these ports. My brother actually found a way to stuff it up here inside underneath the cockpit in that empty space, but I don't like the way it fits in there personally. I feel like it causes these panels to bulge out a little bit, and he was already having trouble rolling, so I just pop it in the back here. So there he is in vehicle mode. We'll go ahead and take a look at some size comparisons. We've got our standard silver Rubik's Cube. At some point I might change it up for another one, cycle through some of my cubes. But for now, that's the one. We've got Gore Magala statue there for your size comparison. We've got Volkswagen Bumblebee. Oh, bumping everything. And then the next review that's coming out technically is Sentinel, and then I believe Inferno, but the next deluxe review I think I'm going to do is going to be Siege Impactor. It's the Siege version, so it's the retail version with the non-Spartan-y IDW head, and it's in the Siege color scheme, or instead of being bright yellow, it's got this dirty, muddy, mustard-looking color on him. But that about wraps it up for size comparisons, so we'll go ahead and take a look at his transformation. Alrighty, to begin transforming Wheeljack, we're going to go ahead and try to remember what we're doing here because it's been a minute. I'm pretty sure what I want to do is unpeg the hands from the side of the vehicle, because there's his hands there. You've got a tab here that goes into a slot on the forearm, so just unpeg those, get them off to the side like so. We don't have to unpeg them from the back right now. Well, actually, yeah, we'll go ahead and unpeg them from the back. So they are on a double hinge and they are pegged in. There's a tab port there. There's a tab there that ports into it. So go ahead and double hinge them out. Rotate his head up and then spin his torso around. So that way it's facing the roof. And if you wanted to right now, you could take this gun and pop it over here to his shoulder and spin up his little shoulder fins. So the spoiler was here. And you just spin it. And there's a little tab right there that just kind of stops it at the angle that it wants it to be at. Then you're going to get his window separated from the car so you can fold it up. There is 2 tabs here on the window. You can see one behind my finger, and they're going to go into what looks to be the screw holes here on the chest. I'm going to go ahead and raise up a little bit because he's a flat car and he is certainly taller as a robot. Separate his legs and start to pull the leg out in a way, and then you're gonna fold this leftover piece of window down. There's a stopping point, so that way when you finish folding the leg out, it'll go inside the leg like so, and then you just fold the foot down. It folds farther than it needs to, like a lot of these Siege figures do, so his foot usually ends up doing this, but it is supposed to be like that. Oop, that can happen. The clip holding this little window piece on has got less oomph in it than the leg sticking into the shin. So there's his legs all done. Mine's a little loose at the knees. I'm not sure if that was a running issue or not. It's been a while since I've seen a review of this guy. And then you're going to rotate the forearm forward, then rotate the hand so that it's in line with the arm. And same thing on the other side. And then you've got your Wheeljack in robot mode. If you had the gun on the roof or in any of the other various ports, or you just left it on his arm until the end of the transformation, you can go ahead and take it off and he can hold it via the peg. But there are 2 tabs where the shoulders plugged into the back of the car there. There's a tab on this gun that fits in it, so it's on his shoulder, as I believe it should be. We'll go ahead and zoom in to look at his details. And he has a very, very Wheeljack face with the cyber mummy coil and the antenna satellite ears. These are not nearly as angled as they should be. Like, the angle of where they're sitting is not bad, but they come to a very flat, abrupt end. I believe there's an upgrade kit for that, but I never got it, and I think what it did was these just slide in and out, so if you wanted him to have no spoiler, you could literally pop these out and you'd have 2 extra ports for Siege stuff. But I believe you just slid those out and slid new pieces on, and I can't remember what else came with it. Going down the body, the hood paint is the same exact paint as the robot mode or the vehicle mode hood, but this little area that they painted black looks kind of nice there just under his head. Gives it kind of like a collary look almost. You got breakup on the arm through the plastic coloration, and then the back of his hand is that weirdly painted panel because it's molded black plastic. Maybe that's why they chose such a dark paint, so the black wouldn't show through, and then they just used it again here on the loose knees. Used it again here, even though it's clear plastic, just because they didn't want to have 2 different tan paints. Coming down the legs, you got new green stripe detail that's revealed, and it kind of lines up nice with what's left on the foot. Other than that, it's all pretty much the same down here on the legs as it was molded detail going up the back. You've got the paint that was on the rear of the vehicle there, and you've got the tomato soup on his ankles and his the back of his forearms, and then there's the back of him from the back of him, and he looks good. So we're gonna go ahead and zoom back out, and we'll take a look at his articulation. I'm going to remove the gun for this momentarily just so it's not in my way. He has a ball jointed head. It is going to go a full 360. It does give him a little bit of tilt, and it doesn't immediately pop back like some of them do. He can barely look up, can look down a decent amount. He's got the universal shoulders, but his back flap is going to get in the way. If you rotate it out to the side, you could do a full 360, but you've got to like make him do some, well, I mean, that's almost realistic though, because you can't just bend your arm completely around without flexing it out. So he's got realistic universal shoulders, and then you've got that double joint, so he can actually go up really far if you manipulate the double joint. If you wanted, he could go up decently far if you work with those joints. He's got a bicep swivel. It does not go all the way around. This part is squared off for vehicle mode right here, so it will stop it in several spots, but it has all the motion you would really need from it. The wrist swivel is unlimited, and then you've got a 90-degree elbow bend. It looks like it could be more, but it's just the weird shape of his forearm, I think, causing that effect. You've got the universal hips, and they go back all the way because the backpack is pretty much just stopping at the waistline. Outward, you got a full 360 at the hip for the transformation. Almost forgot. Glad I didn't. Touch over 90 at the knee, it looks like, and my knees, this one is alright, but this one is very loose. I might have to tighten that up. There's a lot of, I need to sit down and just pick up all my figures and see if they need some tightening. And then his ankles are on this double hinge for the transformation, so you can get downward, you can kind of point it up, you can get it at this weird angle, whatever you want to do with it, and then it's got a rocker. Pretty decent one too. So that's Wheeljack's articulation, and like I said, you can just plug his gun in, but as far as I know, it goes like that. So we'll get him off to the side here, and we'll take a look at size comparison part 2. We've got the Rubik's Cube, which is roughly half his height. We've got Gormagala statue. We have the Bumblebee movie Bumblebee, that he's back to his normal face. Couldn't remember if he was in the video previous to this, but I know he was in the Sentinel video I filmed before this because I sold that figure off. So he's back to his normal face. And then I didn't want to dig out Concept Camaro Bumblebee because I put him away without thinking about it. So here he is with Origin Bumblebee because he's transformed. He's a recent enough deluxe, and he was on my shelf of, because my shelves pretty much consist of just a bunch of G1 and Beast Wars stuff right now from the main line. So there's your Origin Bumblebee comparison. I took all those rods and threw them in the bin, but he still got his jetpack and gun out just because I haven't transformed him so I can keep track of what I reviewed. There he is in robot mode with some buddies. Final thoughts wise, it's alright. The legs are slightly annoying. I mean, the loose knee notwithstanding, the feet are kind of irritating, and then this is frictioned in here. I don't think it actually, well, maybe it does tab. There's a little tab in there. Oh, the window fell off again. There's a little tab in there that's supposed to go into that, and one of the legs, if not both of the legs, it feels pretty loose. I gotta get this back in here. And then these clips that these windows are on aren't the best, so the windows are popping off. I might take a flathead and just kind of wedge it between the clips to widen them a little bit so it holds on better. I don't know, but the paint's pretty good. That tan paint, like I said, I don't know if it's that dark to make sure it covers up the black of the hands, but the paint on the roof / chest doesn't look as bad because it's constantly broken up by other colors. It's no direct contact. Like right here, even you've got the color on the windows that's keeping it just far enough away from this that your eye it can notice the difference, but it's not as egregious versus this literally touching it and you're just like, oh yeah, that's definitely way different. Yo, sorry, my voice came out. You know, other than that, there's not really a lot of problems I have with him besides these, which is more of a problem I know that the figure has than a problem I have with the figure. I'm not as attached to G1 as some of these other guys for reasons I've stated. So it's alright with me the way it is, enough that I'm not going to spend money to fix it, if that makes any sense. But Wednesday's review coming out is Sentinel Prime, and I want to say that Friday's review is going to be Inferno, which I have to shoot probably the day this comes out. Hopefully I'll have it shot by then. I'm shooting things basically a week in advance almost, and I'm just doing it so that way I know that I have it shot and I don't have to worry about it. But I just realized that if I eventually become popular enough that I could do something like a Patreon, then I'm filming stuff so early that I'd be able to do early releases on it for tiered members. So I'm already getting into the habit and I won't have to change it. It's just nice when things work out that way. Alrighty guys, at this point, when this video comes up, it's definitely going to be after the new series I have on my channel. I didn't start it when I made the Sentinel review, so I'm not going to mention it then, but I have started it now, which is funny because I filmed the reviews backwards. So the news is going to come out. Basically the video it should have, but I found that my phone has like screen footage capture software on it, just built in, so I can video record my screen, and I have a DS emulator, so I decided I'm going to start doing a playthrough of Pokemon Platinum. I was just going to do a straight playthrough, but someone wanted me to do a challenging aspect. So with episode 3, I'm either going to do no healing items in battle or no healing items at all. I'm going to be asking a couple of people what they think, and then we'll just figure out what it is. For now, I'll just not use any at all until I can figure out if people don't care, as long as it's not in battle. But that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next review, and I hope you guys like my new series.